I want to say hello to everybody that's here. Let's talk about the music industry. The music industry is something that Black people contribute to in an extraordinary way, a disproportionate way, probably more so than sports or almost anything else. And the music industry has a mixed legacy when it comes to our people. There is money being made, and there are people being played. And so my guest today is a man named John Boyd, and John is he is an extraordinary talent in himself, and particularly in the fact that he has 9 super talented children that all perform together. And the group's called, is it called Victory Song? Is that or
Infinity Song? It's different combinations. So they have solo projects. Victory has a solo project, but also she performs with her. She's one of the lead singers in Infinity Song, which is
Infinity Song. Yes, and I don't know. I think the word victory came up because Victory, your daughter Victory, who's kind of maybe the Michael Jackson or the Michael Jordan of the group, is the first one that I saw, because I mean she's electrified the whole world. But then your family is so talented, and your children are so smart, disciplined, talented, and they work well together. But I'm sure that's what we see from the outside. I can't imagine how much work it takes to maintain that type of synchronized swimming. It reminds me of synchronized swimming. Above the water, everybody's seeing things so structured and organized, but below the water, there's chaos. So father to father, I can't imagine what that must be like. So let me just start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from, and where'd you raise your children?
So, Boyce, I'm from Detroit. I was born in Detroit in early 60s, 1963 to be exact. I was from a musical family in terms of my family heritage and legacy. I raised my children with their mother in Detroit, Michigan, for the most part. And our venture into music started actually with my founding of the Boys Choir of Detroit, which was a replication of the Boys Choir of Harlem. Boys Choir of Harlem was like one of the most famous boys choirs in the world. And I was impressed by them, went to New York, met with the Dr. Turnbull, his brother, Horace Turnbull, and then we replicated that in Detroit for the first time. There was a boys choir, and then I started a girls choir. And my children were section leaders in the choir. So Israel, one of my sons in the Infinity Song, was born at the time that I founded the choir in 1997. And all my other children kind of cut their teeth in the choir and learned all kinds of things. As I taught them at home, and then we employed music directors, choir directors. It's a big story in terms of their early childhood and developmental process in music.
Okay, and so you and I want everybody to know how I met John. John had brought his daughter Victory to an event that we had in Baltimore, and I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I know that maybe it was 2016, could have been 2017, something like that, And so I remember, here's what I remember from my perspective, and then you can share from your perspective. I remember I was walking in the building, and you and Victory were getting out of a cab, and so you walked. We shook hands, and you and I talked. And right. you mentioned your daughter, but I remember she was quiet as a mouse. She had a guitar strapped to her back, very very polite. She's just a very nice young lady. And I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. And I had no idea that I was talking to one of the great talents of our generation musically. I mean, when I tell y'all that one of the great talents of your generation, I'm not kidding. I mean, she sings and it blows the roof off. And so we went upstairs. We had the VIP gathering. Everybody's talking. We're all talking about it.
Right.
And Victory was sitting there on the couch quietly with the guitar on her back, did not say a word. Like, I meet a lot of people in entertainment, and they want to come up and they're like, hey, Dr. Boyce, can I send you my music? Can I sing for you? She didn't do that. She just, and I believe that if we had just walked out of the room, like I think she would have just walked out and it would have been fine. She would have just fit right in. And I noticed her guitar on her back. And I said, oh, you play the guitar? And she said, yeah. She said, yeah, and I sing. I said, oh, well, can you sing something for us? That's my little test. I always test entertainers to see, are you really ready? Are you really serious? Because a serious entertainer to me is somebody that can perform on the spot. And she said, sure, let me get my guitar ready. I said, okay. So she got a guitar ready, did whatever you do with the guitar. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be nice. and from the first syllable that came out of her mouth, I was like, whoa, I'd never heard anything like that before. And the whole room was blown away and electrified. And that was my experience. Now, I imagine you've seen that play out 1,000 times. I know she sang for people like Jay-Z and Kanye West and a lot of other people that have had the same reaction. Can you talk about that? We can start with Victory, and then I'd love to talk about your entire family as well, because you have a lot of talented children. What's that been like for you as a dad to see the whole world reacting so favorably to the talent of your family?
Well, it's really heartwarming, and it's rewarding because it's been a long process. When I think about Victory, I think about a 2-year-old that would walk out the house and serenade the neighborhood, singing "This is the day that the Lord has made" at 2. At 4, she makes her debut into the Girls Choir of Detroit, holding down her section. She's playing complex melodies through putting both of her hands together and creating a trumpet sound at 6 or 7. Her ears are so phenomenal that, because they just been surrounded by music at that point. And her improvisation, rhythm skills, because music really involves a lot more than just putting together melodies. It's rhythm, it's ear, it's instincts, its ability to storytell, which is a part of improvisation, and so it's no surprise to me that as she grew and developed, that she was going to encounter the industry and leaders in the industry, and they would affirm the value that she has musically, and but that she's unique, and she's our house was like a music conservatory. Like constantly wrote, arranged, experimented with music, and again interacted with a lot of musicians in Detroit. Of course, Detroit is the home of Motown, and it's really a great musical place. And so, one of her strong suits beyond producing and singing is actually writing music. She's a prolific songwriter. In fact, when you mentioned Kanye, people should know she wrote like 3 songs on this Jesus is King album. She wrote Clothes on Sunday, wrote on God Is, and I think she made strong contributions to the song called Water. And, she's a huge part of that album. And,
wow.
So she doesn't just, make small contributions. She's one of the people that he goes to, and when it comes to some of the new stuff that he's doing, like in the spiritual realm.
Yeah, so given that Kanye West has moved in, and that's something. I mean, by the way, in case I forgot to mention this to y'all, his daughter writes songs for Kanye West, among many things. That's probably the 4th or 5th thing down on her list of accomplishments. And so Kanye is an interesting character in the sense that he's been, his name's been kind of tossed in the political arena, and it's kind of been interesting, right? And without really digging into that too much, how that transition to, I wasn't sure what to make of it when it's like, okay, he's coming out with kind of almost a gospel album, but I don't know if I'd even call it that, but it seemed like it was a very serious transition into faith-based music. And, and I listened to the album. I said, oh, okay. So he really is talking about God and Jesus and everything else. It's not just sort of a gimmick or a fad. And I know your family's very spiritual, if I'm not mistaken. And so,
right.
So what's that been like for you in terms of contributing Kanye West style music to something that is connected to something as meaningful and as sacred as your faith?
Well, yeah, I don't doubt the authenticity of his walk, right? Because he he wrote Jesus Walks a long time ago. He's a complex individual, and he has, many different parts of his being, of his character. My experiences with him has been experiences that, have been where he's been authentic. What he invested in the development of the Sunday service choir is probably unparalleled. Like if people only knew like the sacrifices and the investment that went into it. And I was one of his advisors during a 6-month period, and I was amazed at how he wouldn't share that load. He's like, why are you doing this by yourself? Why aren't you making a nonprofit and taking, sharing that load? But this was his mission. So I know, he's involved in a lot of stuff. He has a lot of different interests and, different, personalities, different looks, whatever. I can only speak from my personal experience as it relates to my family's involvement. And, of course, we have more of a business relationship with Jay-Z than, Kanye, because, that's we're with Rock Nation. So, but, I consider him a little brother. So I don't get caught up in all that other stuff. When I see him, I look at him, he's like 10 years younger than me. And, in fact, sometimes he said he's the 10th member of my family. There are times when he said that. So,
wow.
He appreciates the way I raised my family.
Well, I'll tell you, I know, I don't know Kanye as well as I know you. I only talked to Kanye that one time. But, the thing that I love is what made me really happy and supportive of what he was doing was the way he carried the banner for Powernomics and Dr. Claude Anderson and things like that. And I would consider Kanye and Ice Cube within the entertainment industry, Kanye, Ice Cube, and Charlamagne the God to be kind of the leaders in terms of helping our people on a mass scale hear about something that they need to know. We all need to understand Powernomics principles as Black people. Can you kind of speak to that in terms of, just sort of being a Black man? I know that you are a real Black man. You're a righteous Black man. You believe in Black family. You believe in the Black community. But you're going into an industry that's been criticized at times for not always having the best interests of the Black people at heart. What's that walk been like for you? And what are your thoughts as moving forward in this?
Let me say this without really trying to be boastful or anything, but I remember introducing Kanye to Dr. Claude Anderson, his work with his cousin Jamil, and I was on his ranch sometime. It's like, Kanye, you know about Dr. Anderson? Well, actually, it was Jamil. I talked to Jamil. Jamil was like really a fan of Dr. Anderson. He said we should introduce him to Kanye. Kanye, we sat through like a 2-hour video. And Kanye latched onto his work. And when I wasn't around Kanye, I had no idea that he was pursuing his work. And later on, it circled back. And of course, I was instrumental in connecting you with Kanye. But in terms of the work of the struggle, very much a student of the struggle, a participant in the struggle. I admire the work of Dr. Claude and his journey. And I personally have studied economics, and that's one of the things that makes me in some ways unique. I not only approach music and the arts from the standpoint of studying music and art, but I studied it from a sociological, economic, standpoint. And so, the difference, I think, when people compliment me on my children, sometimes they may not realize that then, we use music as a, development tool. So music is not necessarily the end, although we do it well. It's the means to an end of character development, educations, studying, like, the reality of the world. So it keeps us humble, keeps us grounded.
Wow. Well, and I love that a lot. And I know that was the thing that when you and I met. And by the way, everybody, before I move on, let me mention who I'm speaking with. I'm speaking with Mr. John Boyd. John is the father of, of the most talented group of relatives I've ever met in my life. Right up there, they're right up there with the Jackson 5 in terms of family talent. Maybe I think they actually surpassed the Jackson 5. They may not be as famous, but they're right up there. And the group is called Infinity's Song. Infinity Song, and one of the singers in Infinity Song is Victory Boyd, and Victory is a person that that was the first one that I met, and then I saw the other siblings and met them, and just really enjoyed speaking with them. And if you don't mind, man, I was thinking maybe I could actually play a little clip I found online of your children singing. Let's see, it looks like they're singing "Higher Love," a Stevie Wonder cover. Is that cool? Can I play that? All right. So I'm gonna share my screen, everybody. Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you're able to hear this when I play it. Let me see here. Here we go. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna share my audio here. Let's hope I don't mess this up. All right. So you should see the family on the screen. And let me turn up my volume and make sure this is up. Here we go.
Think about it, there must be a higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is wasted time. Look inside your heart and out inside mine. Things are so bad everywhere in this whole world. What's fair? We walk blind and we try to see, falling behind what could be. Bring me a higher, bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher. Where's this higher love? Worlds are turning and we're aiming on, facing our fears, standing out there alone. Oh, we're yearning, and it's freedom for me. There must be someone who is waiting for me. Yeah. Things are so bad everywhere in this whole world. What is fair? We walk blind and we try to see, falling behind in what could be. Oh, bring a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Bring a higher. Where's this higher love? I can light the night up with my soul on fire. I can make the sunshine from my pure desire. Let me feel this love all over me. Let me feel how strong it can be. Where's this higher love I've been thinking
Wow. I'll tell you, I love that. When, just so you know, in case you didn't know, whenever I see your children perform, I'm just my face just expands because I'm smiling, I'm grinning because I'm so proud of your family. Because I know that I know also the role. I'm proud of you as a father, right? I know that as a Black man, I think you understand the way that I think we have to be reminded of the importance of fathers and fatherhood and masculine leadership. And I know how much work it took for you to get all your children on the same page. I mean, I know how hard it is for my kids, and I just have a tremendous amount of admiration for that. So I'd be curious to ask you about this. I saw people in the chat, and everybody, please give a digital round of applause for this family and how talented they are. I'll play another song where you can also hear Victory directly, which is going to blow your mind. I promise you that. But when people are talking in the chat, I see them saying, "Now this is music. This is what I want to hear on the radio. This is good." But instead, we're hearing garbage, right? We just hear so much stuff that just nobody wants to hear. Not our people anyway. They want to hear better representations of who we are. What's that battle like for you when you've got this talented family, and then your daughter is really just sticking out there like crazy, and she's not doing the Cardi B thing. She's not doing some of this other stuff that we're seeing in the industry. She is presenting herself as what she is, a very talented, intelligent young woman. What's that battle been like for you?
I think it starts with self-identity, and it starts with a relationship with an audience, identifying audience, and not worrying about all the other stuff, because the development of really excellent music is a marathon and not a sprint. So people understand value, and my advice has always been to my children is don't worry about being popular real fast. Really work on your craft and establish value, and the laws of value are not going to go away. So it will attract the right attention, and whatever that is, that's going to be more than enough. So it is a very complicated journey to navigate, because music there's so much intersects with music that intersects with music now. It's not just music interests. It's corporate interests, and people have various reasons for really linking up with influencers. So music is a vehicle of influence, and so we really are interested in people that love music, that relate to us based upon our ability to produce and sing and really put a great sound out there. And we over the last few years, we haven't had a problem with attracting the right stakeholders, and they were probably one of the most prominent groups on social media for the entire 2020. I think for 1 month or even more, they had one viral video after the next. Of course, their biggest one was the Fleetwood Mac cover that they did, that my daughter Momo alone had 4 million views on, not including the whole group. I think collectively that was probably 10 to 15 million views on that one video. And of course, Victory's first viral video was her cover of Stevie Wonder, Overjoyed, which my brother, Dr. Boyce, helped to facilitate that. And we had never experienced anything like that.
Wow.
Just so everybody know, they just released their debut album last October 2nd to be exact. It's called Mad Love, and that really is a great album, and I think it's a classic. I executive produced it, and it's just really a great body of work. And then of course Victory's debut album was called The Broken Instrument, which was another her great body of work. So they're busy. In fact, I was talking to the music label at the end of the year, and she's like, John, Infinity Song is getting so much attention. They're getting more attention than some of the people that are super famous at this point. I don't claim that they're more, they got more going on than super famous people, but the point is that the path that we took in terms of focusing on the craft and the philosophy, underlying philosophy about not rushing out there half-baked, it looks like it's working. So we're cool with the progress.
Well, and I think people appreciate that, and I'm glad you're seeing that, right? Because from where I'm standing, when I'm listening to people, we're just a lot of people, myself included, are kind of just confused. Like, okay, who authorized this nonsense that's being dropped on top of our children's heads, and then they see Infinity Song, they see Victory, and they're like, okay, this is it. I know that my fiance, like, we're extraordinarily honored that you all are going to sing at our wedding. I know that COVID kind of derailed that, but that's one of the most exciting things. Like, it's one of those things where we're talking to each other and excited to just tell our relatives. We were like, we can't wait for you to hear what you're going to hear when you're there. And so actually what I wanted to do was that time she sang the Stevie Wonder song. And we were in New York, everybody, just in case y'all know the story. So John had reached out and told me they were doing a recording session, and Alicia and I were staying in New York, and we went over it and we heard, we listened to your album. And just so you know, my attention span is not that long. It's hard to get me to sit and listen to a whole album. I did it, and I was very happy to do it, because every moment it's like sitting there eating 10 plates of your favorite food, and you just want to keep on biting. And so after we got done, I said, let me just pull out my cell phone. Let's just, record this. I didn't know what was going to come of this video. I just threw it up online and just kind of walked away. It wasn't actually until you all performed in Chicago at that private event, when Victory mentioned that it had gone viral and everything else. And and I was like, oh, that happened. Oh, that's cool. Good. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take credit for it. But it wasn't me. I mean, it was the talent that did it. All I did was just kind of help put it out there in front of people. And so I want to share this video with everybody, because y'all have to see this. It was so I just can't put it into words. And I can tell you how excited I am and honored I am that this will be a part of our wedding. Like, Victory literally is our favorite singer. Like, we listen to they see she Alicia just walked in the room. Alicia, her eyes got real big and she smiled, because Victory is our favorite singer. We download the album on Spotify. It's the album we love to listen to. We can listen to it over and over again, and she's that talented. So I'm gonna share this screen with you guys so you can see that moment where we recorded Victory singing the Stevie Wonder song Overjoyed. And I think even Stevie would approve this message. So here we go. Let me turn my volume up and hit play. Here we go.
All the time I've been building my castle of love, just for you, though you never knew of my reason. I've come much too far for you now to say that I've got to throw my castle away. All the dreams I have picked out of perfect come true. Though you never learned to be what you the sun has come from too far away for you to say come back some other day. And though you don't believe that they do, let it come true. For if my dreams come to holding my dreams. Just when I look at you, you need me to give you what you need. You take my be oh joy, oh love, oh peace, oh. And only I see it from what do they know? Burning romance, but you love me to take chance. And maybe with a chance you find you do like I. Oh, joy, oh, love, oh, over me.
Wow.
Wow, you know that that's me in the background, yo. Everybody, can y'all please clap for this black woman and also her dad and this amazing family? Give them a digital round of applause because every time I watch, and I know it, I should have even talked to you about it before I shared it because I know Victory's. I've noticed that that her look has evolved through time and stuff like that, and that was very just kind of raw on the spot. And I apologize for that, man. But I'll tell you that was
don't apologize for it. It was a historic moment, right? And people get it. That's what I'm talking about. Everything like just being for real. The process of developing talent is a very difficult and challenging process, right? As you know. So definitely she's in a different place now and has a whole staff and team and all the glam and all that stuff, but the essence is still the same.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. And actually, I'm just out of fairness, I'll share my screen as I ask my brother our last question, just so you can kind of see as Victory's become bigger and more famous. You see that things have evolved, and she's performing in big places, big venues, the Kennedy Center, and performing with very well respected artists all around the world, and it's deserved. It's deserved not just because the talent is through the roof, but your family's a blessing to Black people who identify with a B1 philosophy. When you talk about putting Black people first and our community first, that's how we actually met. Is that you mentioned, you said that my daughter is going to be really big in the industry, and I want to make sure she keeps her feet rooted in the ground of Blackness. And I felt like you were already doing a great job with that, but I was glad to partner with you as another Black man to say, okay, let's figure out how we can make sure we raise our children in the right way, so that as they go, they can be out in the world, but they're not of the world, right? They're of our world and representing who we are to the world in an appropriate way. So bless you, man. I want to ask you one question before we go, because apparently there are some Trump supporters who have stormed the Capitol. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that or not. Have you seen that?
I heard about it. I tried to stay focused today on stuff I had to do, but it's on my radar actually.
They've literally stormed. Like, Congress had to evacuate the building because they broke through the barriers and have literally stormed. Like, it's a coup, a literal coup. Did you know? Did you hear that?
No, I was talking to you during that time. I do want to talk about that, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention my brother Jay-Z, because we talked about Kanye. And
oh, please.
Actually, Jay-Z was more instrumental in really identifying the talent of the family and also supporting the family in terms of the record deal and everything. And he signed 5 of my children directly, which he rarely does. The signing usually goes through the A&R, but he did that directly, and he's personally involved, and this is something that's close to his heart, this project. So I want to give a shout out for him on that, in that respect. Also want to shout out for his vision in buying and nurturing Tidal, which is one of the, I don't know if he's going to sell it, but I wrote a letter to him just before we got signed with him, how much I appreciated, Black-owned streaming service, because at another time we're going to talk about the future of music and the music industry as a whole, because I think we as a community have historically a big interest in this commodity, the commodity of sound and music. So there's some insight I want to share with your audience with respect to that. But Jay-Z, of course he's a big guy, just like Kanye, but these guys really, I know them from a heart standpoint, and if we push all that other stuff aside, this was a big move on his part. Just to let you know, a lot of people at the label didn't even know what to do with my family, because they didn't know how to market it. It's very unique, because that's a hip hop label. We don't really do hip hop other than like Israel. My son, now he's doing that, but generally, we did it rhythm and blues, gospel, a lot of other music. But he took that leap of faith, and now the label has no question about what they're going to do with us. Not any question at all.
Wow. Well, I feel that what you're doing in your family it's very timely, because I see our community going in a different direction, and I see the world finally being open to respecting that too. I think that the world became we're living in a different planet than we lived on, a year or two ago, and I can see your family continuing that trajectory. I mean, we talk about Jay-Z and Kanye. It doesn't get much bigger than that, right? So you've already attracted the attention of the leaders in the industry. But I think that there's also more that's going to happen as well. That's what I'm seeing in terms of the whole world really seeing what we're seeing right here. And so I'm super excited to just be a part of the beginning of that process. And also, before I let you go, man, I want to ask you, you have a new book coming out. Did you want to talk about that today, or do you want to come back and talk about it?
I'm writing a book that I'm dedicating to my mother who passed some time ago. It's in the theological and religious space. It's called The 21 Love Languages of God. It'll be out this March. And it builds on the whole thesis by this guy named Gary Chapman that talks about the love languages of people, human to human. This is like human to divinity, which is a progression, a graduation from human to human. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be something that comes on the scene and really gets people to thinking. But that's another one of my interests, writing. My family, we're big into writing, whether it's songwriting or whatever. And you all look out for it. You look out for it. It's gonna, definitely, I'll come back and talk to you all about it here. But it's going to be, it should be a good conversation.
All right. The 21 love languages of God. So God does not have 20 love languages or 22. It's exactly is that
he doesn't have 5. It's he has a lot of love language. It's just the basic thesis is that, with any relationship, you don't make assumptions, right? You study the person so that you can act accordingly to whatever their unique desires are, and each person is different, and we understand that in the human context. So just imagine God, right? It was a little more complicated, but it requires some homework. And my mother had a really good relationship with the Lord, so I want to dedicate this to her.
Well, no, what was your mother's name?
Eva Mae Peterson.
Eva Mae Peterson. All right. So everybody saying Ashe to Eva Mae Peterson, who is watching from heaven very proudly. I heard the Wi-Fi in heaven is very good. So I'm sure she's enjoying this conversation, enjoying the extraordinary success of your family like the rest of us are. So where can people follow your family on social media and show support? And I want everybody listening, please show active support of the things that you believe in. And so we're not just here to talk about the things we don't like. Let's talk about the things we do like. So where can people follow and support your family?
So Victory Boyd has her social media and her album, The Broken Instrument. And I think there's another EP. She's all over the television with Russell Stover, the chocolate company doing, a song called "I Want to Make You Happy." People may not have realized that that's Victory's. And then Infinity Song just released their debut project called Mad Love, and
wow,
they all wrote, produced, pretty much 100% ownership. Okay, I'm big on ownership in terms of our own publishing and everything. And just one producer we collaborated with, Jerry Wanda out in New York, who wrote a lot for the Fugees and Lauryn Hill and that big project that went, that won all those awards. But he's a well-known producer. But other than that, they wrote 100%. Victory wrote 100% of her first album, and they're busy writing, producing. But
wow, there was the commercial. What was that commercial again? Because I was watching it, and Alicia said, "That's Victory. That's Victory." What was the commercial again for?
It's a commercial by the chocolate company called Russell Stover. They make chocolate bars and all that.
I saw that. Yeah,
it's an amazing hit. They can't stop raving about what Victory did in writing that song and composing it, producing it, and it's just all over the place. So
wow.
Yeah, we just signed a promotional deal also with American Airlines. So you all jump on a plane for, I think, for the month of March or so. You're going to hear Infinity Song and Victory, and they have their own channel there.
Wow.
Infinity Song Social is just Infinity Song. They have a YouTube page, they have social media, Instagram, Facebook, everything. They're very accessible.
All right. So Infinity Song, John Boyd, Victory Boyd. Everybody, please support this family. This is I haven't seen things like this since the Jackson 5. And I think that they're going to do amazing things. So thank you, brother. It's great to have you here, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you so much, my brother.
All right, absolutely. Well, take care, everybody. Have a good day, and please give a digital round of applause and thank you for the brother John Boyd that came through. And hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button on your way out. And we are gone. Have a good day, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.